Welcome to the FLOWER Magazine Showhouse in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The refined Georgian-style house, tucked within a neighborhood dotted with centuries-old live oaks, was conceived and executed by Ivy Residential Concepts, a real estate development and design firm owned by Jewel and Vincent Centanni. This project had multiple layers because not only were we designing and building a show house, but we also planned from the beginning for it to become our personal home, says Vincent. The couple gravitate toward a European aesthetic, which made a Georgian house a natural fit. Inside, they balanced classic references with streamlined details that lean a little more contemporary. The couple loves traditional style and materials, but also wanted the house to be fun and youthful. They made some specific choices with the color palette for surfaces and finishes, but wanted to give designers freedom to carry out their visions. Mary McDonald, Showhouse Design Chair, and Barry Dixon, Honorary Chair, both agree the end result seamlessly marries old and new and reflects a successful collaboration. In this and individual designer videos, we invite you to explore each space, learn from the creative minds who designed it, and note the resources used to bring it all together. From the front door, you arrive in Ware Porter's entry. Ware thinks of an entry as an amuse-bouche, leading to a big reveal that unfolds beyond. It's the space that makes the first impression. He used a selection of Farrow & Ball's new collection of wall coverings from fashion designer Christopher John Rogers, who happens to have been raised in Baton Rouge. After watching Rogers' fashion show in Paris, Ware was inspired by his way with color and geometry that was just out of this world. He chose this paper as a tribute. Ware embraced the geometry of both the architecture and the wallpaper in choosing all the other elements, such as the Schumacher fabrics, the Christopher Spitz-Miller lamps, and abstract works from Anne Connolly Fine Art. In combining old and new, Ware thought of iconic places in Paris, such as Place Vendôme, the Ritz, and Palais Royal, in juxtaposition with the modernity of the wallpaper. He incorporated a 19th century Louis XV style commode and a giltwood French mirror from Fireside Antiques, a mid-century modern lithograph from artist Charles Lepic, and a planter based on the treillage of Versailles by Accents of France. Ware's exploration of lines continues from the precise to the curved, with a rug from Patterson Flynn, a hand-cut paper collage by Michael Buscemi, and a nude charcoal by Edward Promuk. The space is true to Ware's point of view that too much of a good thing is wonderful. Kara Cox took inspiration for the Nursery from the stylized fern wallpaper and large-scale floral fabric from Liberty used for the daybed canopy and drapery, and continued the palette in other pieces and patterns in the room. Kara loves to design spaces for children, but avoids themes or anything too childish, because she wants them to grow up in beautiful rooms that inspire and will allow their own creativity to shine as they get older. The canopied daybed is a perfect spot for parents to snuggle with their baby. Later, it can become a reading nook for a little girl. The pink mohair is luxurious, but also very forgiving. A boucle chair and Chelsea House agate side table will come in handy for early morning feedings or bedtime lullabies. And as Kara likes to incorporate something old into every space she designs, the Bee-Viz pillows with exquisite antique embroidery details will no doubt encourage the nursery's occupant to develop very refined taste. The lucky little one will have early exposure to the finer things, from Belle Notte linens in her crib to smart outfits from Little English. Kara believes every room, even a nursery, needs original art. So she hung an abstract bayou scene by Ashton Shaw Despot over the crib and arranged a series of small works salon-style on the vestibule's walls. In the adjoining bath, pale green cabinetry, a waterworks faucet, and an antique mirror will lure even the most reluctant child to wash up. In the living room, Ashley Gilbreth notes that the architecture of the house, with large pediments in the living room, establishes a classical tone. She started with a traditional Brunswick and Fee pattern on the walls, and pulled a little more modern with things such as fabrics from Kravat, upholstery pieces from Lee Industries, and a light fixture from Julian Chichester. The mix acknowledges and respects the past, but also throws in some fresh elements and details. Ashley loves multi-purpose furniture arrangements. A desk in the living room is a bit unexpected. The leather chair adds a punch of black, and a Beviz pillow picks up the subtle rose in the fireplace marble. The bar cabinetry is sleek with a flat front. She added a panel-like trim with paint and fun hardware by Modern Matter. The bar's doors can be closed for every day and opened when entertaining. Because of the tall draperies, Ashley felt the space needed a place for the eye to rest. The urn from Fireside Antiques is a sculptural piece that can stand on its own, but looks even prettier when filled with flowers. Ashley suspended a contemporary painting by Caleb Mahoney behind. Outlining the ceiling with a metallic paint detail carries the eye up and adds more definition to the space. See more living room details in our video with Ashley. The starting point for Amanda Smith Fowler's laundry room and adjoining hall came from the tile treatment Jewel Centanni and Ivy Residential Concepts designed. The stripes run from one end of the room across the ceiling to the other side, and the rosy colors make the room glow, no matter the time of day. Amanda visited the Liberty showroom while in London and became enchanted with the company's history and designs. She went back to their roots and chose one of their iconic florals for the window shade. Then she used two solids in the blush tones from the tile work for the valance and the skirt that conceals storage under the counter. She styled the laundry as a cutting room, envisioning the sink filled with loads of flowers from the garden. Amanda feels every house needs a spot where you can really get creative with the textures, colors, and shapes of whatever is in season. In the small hall outside the laundry room, one of Liberty's new papers covers the wall. It features all kinds of birds and flowers. Amanda says that every time she passes through, she notices something different. Pretty surfaces and materials elevate a workhorse room like the laundry and help make going about life's daily tasks a joy. Benjamin Johnston believes in keeping it classic, curated, and cool. In the primary bedroom, he tries to strike that balance, where if you add one more element, it becomes too much. And if you take one away, it feels underdone. Although at first glance, some might say this is a masculine room, he believes there's a play on texture, softness, and luxury that women respond to as well. Every room needs a touch of nature. Here, the wall of windows helps the backyard become an extension of the bedroom. Having that flood of natural light allowed Benjamin to go tailored and moody to quiet down the space. Benjamin's furniture collection for Chaddock is inspired by classical forms interpreted through a mid-century lens. The 8-poster bed with double columns is his ode to Italian architect Andrea Palladio. Texture is incredibly important to Benjamin's work. He likes the juxtaposition of matte surfaces, such as wood finishes, with more luxurious ones, and even a little shimmer in textiles. In Benjamin's own fabric and trim collection for S. Harris, he incorporates his many influences, from ancient motifs such as the Greek key, to Art Deco to mid-century modern. He felt the verticality of the room calls for pieces to lift the eye, such as the Adriano bar with door detailing that evokes an apothecary cabinet. Benjamin finds comfort in order, so his gallery wall is very structured. The Rodney Smith photographs are dreamlike, which seems right for a bedroom. They hang within a series of panels created with ribbon atop the Stroheim grass cloth. Ariane Belizaire envisioned a bright and airy enchanted garden in the primary bath, and for the dressing room, a moody and dramatic night underneath the stars. In the bath, she loves how the flowers on the York wallpaper wind up and around the vanity to frame the window, and the natural light is one of her favorite things about the space. She leaned a glass mosaic panel from New Ravina's Gracie collection atop the vanity, a bronze sculpture Greeting the Dawn from Fireside Antiques overlooks the waterworks tub. In the dressing room, Connie Harris, a Louisiana-based decorative painter, created the ceiling mural. Her interpretation of A Starry Night took the closet over the top. The designer wallpapered the backs of shelves in a contemporary Pharaoh and Ball pattern called Dots by Christopher John Rogers. She says it reminded her of shadows, or the way you'd see light streaming in through a window. In both spaces, Ariane used 2 shades of Pharaoh and Ball paint on cabinetry with the darker color on the panel's inset edge to add depth and dimension. Believing that every room needs a touch of bling or something that sparkles, Ariane selected a Curry & Company chandelier of iron branches dripping with crystal pendants for the bath, and chose Blumera's brass globe of birds and flowers, inspired by a painting by the late artist Laurie Bloom, for the dressing room. And the modern matter hardware on the cabinetry looks like incredible pieces of jewelry. A Lee Industries bench upholstered in their halo moonstone fabric offers a perch to slip on shoes or contemplate the day's outfit. See more of the primary bath and dressing room in our video with Ariane. James Farmer's grandmother always said we eat with our eyes first, and before the first bite, there should be a visual feast. He applies this vision to the Showhouse dining room. James's inspiration was one of his favorite fabrics, The Tree of Life by Lee Joffa, which is now a wallpaper as well. He says to name a color, and it's in there. You can start pulling them out and be off to the races. The large window looking onto the garden invited an indoor-outdoor moment. He chose a metal console by McKinnon and Harris that was crisp and bright to balance the browns and patina of the antiques. James set the table with Spode's Indian Tree from Replacements Limited and accessorized with platters on the walls. He loves how the coral and umber tones pop against the Prussian blue of the antique china cabinet. James incorporated old-school details such as buttons, reverse pleats, and piping on the dining room chairs. They have a slip-covered look, yet they're tailored and buttoned up. James treats ceilings as a piece of art. He created a trellis effect by painting it, as well as the window casings, caulk green by Pharaoh and Ball. He notes it's a color that looks great in daylight or candlelight. James customized the shades on the Curry & Company chandelier with a blue velvet trim. The art bows are a tribute to one of James's decorating icons, Mario Boita. He notes that creating that detail was like sprinkling salt on a chocolate chip cookie. Learn more about the dining room in our video with James. For Chad Gracie, designing the kitchen and butler's pantry was a symbiotic relationship working with Jewel and Vincent of Ivy Residential Concepts. He notes that they have such a good eye and a vision for what they wanted to impart through their surface selections. His goal was to help corral and hone those ideas and tie the 2 rooms together. Chad's starting point was the brown and white palette of checkerboard flooring by New Ravina, which carries from the butler's pantry into the kitchen. In the breakfast area, Chad needed something soft and luxurious to break up the hard surfaces of the kitchen. He found the leopard print for the Lee Industries banquette and began building around that. Fabricut shears frame what he believes is the best view in the house, looking through the windows to the neoclassical pool pavilion. Art takes on many forms, from a custom range by L'Atelier Paris with jewelry-like detailing, to the deep veining of Calicata Violette marble from Marmy Stone that echoes the movement of an abstract painting to an actual abstract painting by Cynthia Knapp. The mahogany color in the butler's pantry is so rich, but Chad wanted something 3-dimensional on the wall to give it sparkle and keep it from getting too serious. He had a flashback to his grandmother's kitchen, where she had fantastic copper molds in fun shapes around the perimeter. He called his mother and asked her to go get those molds, and had them within a day. For the ceiling, Chad chose a silver tea paper from York wall coverings to add more glamour. On the covered porch, Will Huff and Heather Dubarry wanted to create the look and feel of an indoor room that has been transported outside. They call the finished space their latticed lanai. The lattice wall from fuller architectural panels gives the porch definition, making it feel cozier and more like a room. Will and Heather love to use portieres outside for softness and privacy, but felt they needed something to anchor the corners. Heather notes that every outdoor room needs a touch of rattan or wicker, and placed woven pedestals with fern-filled urns in the corners. The design duo brought in more texture with a Serena and Lily console and a Curry & Company light fixture. Heather and Will commissioned Atlanta artist Tomasa Seymour to create a floral painting with paints that could withstand the elements. They found the oyster plates at Fireside Antiques. They're a nod to Louisiana cuisine and bring a little local flavor to the porch. For years, Will and Heather have been building fully upholstered club chairs that can be used outside. They add a sense of comfort, and they swivel. This breathtaking scalamandre floral pattern shows that outdoor fabrics have come a long way. The front courtyard, pool deck, and pavilion bring together Susan Habel's latest designs and Amanda Smith Fowler's styling. Susan notes that having a front courtyard with seating groups for conversation feels like such a gracious way to enter this house. She loves the way sunlight moves across the fretwork pattern on the outdoor furniture she designed, creating shadows that are just magical. Susan's chaises and nesting tables for hickory chair, scalloped umbrellas by Serena and Lily, and bolsters in a stripe from Liberty make lounging lazily by the pool an exercise in chic. Amanda feels that no room is complete without metallics or shine, and exterior spaces are no exception. Bebelo's aged copper lanterns seem as if they've been a part of the house for years. Whether during the day or when lit for the evening, they look great at the front door, around the pool, or leading into the pavilion. In the pavilion, Amanda adapted the tradition of painting porch ceilings haint blue, which the Gullas believed would help ward off evil spirits. She adds that it's also thought to deter mosquitoes, and during a hot and humid Louisiana summer, it's worth a shot. Using tableware from replacements, Amanda amped up the style factor for a luncheon après-swim. She layered plates in different shapes and shades of green with bamboo flatware and colorful crystal. The turf by European Company feels soft underfoot, looks natural and green year-round, and can take the wear and tear of a cutthroat game of croquet. When it's time to return to more solid ground, handcrafted pavers by Heartstone provide both texture and contrast in the front courtyard and backyard pavilion. Rachel Cannon's inspiration for the powder room came from the marble countertop Ivy residential concept selected. It reminded her of a precious stone, which led her to think of Elizabeth Taylor and her famous jewelry collection. Admitting to an obsession with upholstered walls, Rachel had wanted to do them in a powder room for a long time, and this was her opportunity. Rachel swathed the walls in a luxurious wine-colored velvet from Fabricut, and outlined the edges with a tape and nailhead trim. A mottled gold wallpaper, also by Fabricut, takes the luxurious design scheme over the top. Rachel collaborated with Anne Connolly Fine Art and epoxied flowers by Louisiana artist James Vella to the mirror. She loves that they reference Venetian glass and reflect the theatrical atmosphere she wanted to create. The floating vanity allowed for a bountiful floral moment underneath. Rachel requested the floral designer bring the drama, and Stephen Sunnier met the challenge with planters overflowing with some of Rachel's favorites, including peonies, poppies, anemones, and tulips. Portieres in fabric by Ngala Trading close off the mudroom niche in a back hallway lined with paintings, and an installation of Mia Kaplan's hanging water lily sculptures from Anne Connolly Fine Art. A Gracie wallpaper with flowering trees called Tobacco Silhouette was Lisa Palmer's starting point for her upstairs bedroom and bath. She loves its rich curry color. The space is a corner room with a gorgeous live oak outside the window, which makes it feel a little like a treehouse. To frame the view, Lisa chose a cravat linen for the drapery, edged with a floral trim by Samuel & Sons. For the ceiling, she selected Olay from Christopher John Rogers' capsule collection for Pharaoh and Ball. It has a sheen and creaminess that complements the wallpaper. Lisa notes that in her home state of Mississippi, she is fortunate to be surrounded by craftsmen and artists who help execute her vision. Peggy Goldstein, who does incredible monogramming, embroidered the flower on the headboard designed by Lisa. Smida Woodworking made the custom-designed side tables. And Lisa commissioned Delta figurative artist Kathy Hegman to paint a woman in a blue gown with a floral headdress. Lisa found the 18th century daybed in New Orleans, but knew that it was too big for the end of the queen bed. She had a very talented carpenter take about 10 inches out and put it back together, including the center legs. Now reupholstered, it looks seamless and fits perfectly. Veronica Solomon imagined her bedroom and bath for a person who loves learning about creatures and insects. It's whimsical, but still sophisticated. The Porter Taleo wallpaper is reminiscent of the ink blots of a Rorschach test. Veronica immediately saw butterflies, and they became the jumping-off point for her bedroom. She continued to set butterflies alight in artwork, hardware, and even underfoot in the Monarch fire rug from the Alexander McQueen collection for the rug company. Noting that green grounds the space, Veronica used a faux crocodile leather on the 4-poster bed and added a quilted velvet coverlet by Bella Notte. Emerald curtains by Fabricut are edged with a tape that evokes a collection of precious pebbles. She also custom-designed the green nightstands, bringing the texture of hair on hide to her project. Veronica's favorite vignette is the dresser from Curry & Company, with a gilded snake mirror above it that she's had for a very long time. She says it captures her eye every time she walks into the room. The movement of the snakes and animals amid flowers drew Veronica to the bathroom wallpaper. The pattern by the Vale London is juxtaposed with a crisp black and white stripe on the ceiling. In the library, Laura Rowland used pieces with history that can take you to another place. She envisions a lot of creativity and comfort happening here. She painted both the walls and ceiling Pharaoh and Ball lichen to make you feel as if you're being hugged by the room. It's one of her favorite tones because it works as a neutral but also has color that is a little dusty, like a library should be. Laura's mother and grandmother started Fireside Antiques in the 1980s, and now she is the 3rd generation in the business. She believes you don't really own an antique. You make it a part of your life until it gets passed down and reused by the next generation. Antiques keep all that energy, and the patina that comes with use and years of wax polished into wood gives them a depth and history which just can't be replaced. Laura collects antique frames that inspire her, and they often work well with modern art. She worked with Anne Connolly to create a kind of surrealist gallery wall with the right balance between old and new. Laura layered pattern into the built-in cabinetry with a sister parish wallpaper on the back of the shelves that echoes the tones of the marble counter, along with cafe curtains that conceal storage underneath. She felt that whether someone was working at the desk or reading on the sofa, all the comforts should be close at hand, so she arranged a bar with snacks and aperitifs. A focal point in the room is the 17th century French tapestry. Laura bought the tapestry as is, with the velvet frame around it. She notes that a lot of tapestries she finds would be too large for a room this scale, but this one made the perfect centerpiece for the library. Megan Moulton calls her media room the jungle tent. When Megan spotted the wallpaper from Cole & Son, she had to have it. It's bold with the tropical feel she wanted, and it pulled the color palette together. She initially thought the ceiling would be solid green, as she wanted a moody media room. When a colleague suggested we paint the 30-inch wide pink stripes, Megan embraced the idea because it's one of her signature colors. She says it became the perfect touch, adding the tent to our jungle. Megan loves to design with pairs, feeling it gives the space symmetry and balance. Megan selected matching universal furniture sectionals and ottomans, and then hung 2 oversized rattan chandeliers from Curry & Company overhead. Kelly Worstler is one of Megan's style icons, and she upholstered chairs from Universal with Kelly's fabric for Lee Joffa. The tulip-style table provides a chic surface to play games. The painting above the table is by Meredith Pardue through Anne Connolly Fine Art. The prickly texture of the porcupine quill mirror from Ingala Trading contrasts with the contemporary profile of the reeded chest in a matte white finish. Megan draped a curtain at the door, so you feel as if you're walking into the tent. It's creatively tied back with a rattan chain she often uses as an accessory arranged over a bowl or book. To see even more from the Flower Magazine Baton Rouge Showhouse, be sure to watch the designers' room-by-room tours, and don't miss our roundup of Showhouse flower arrangements to see compositions from all of the floral designers. And if you enjoy seeing beautiful homes, gardens, and design videos, be sure to click the subscribe button for more and click the bell to be notified when we post new content. We would like to thank our Showhouse sponsors for supporting this project and sharing their extraordinary products and services.